Hello and welcome to a Wild Rift analysis. I think that there's a lot of questions that are going on, especially from Dota players going into League. Things are very different. The games are different, obviously. And if you watch Worlds, you see that just how things are different in the sense that like you don't have access to all the heroes / champions or whatever they're called in your game of choice. So it's kind of risky in the sense of like, how do I play this game and how do I get the most enjoyment out of it, is especially someone as a Dota player. How do I kind of transition myself into this? I think it's like one of those things where you kind of, it's different because you don't have access to everything. You have to kind of play things through. There's a bit of a grind. There's things like runes. There's, hang on, I'll just kind of walk you through that right there. Not the collections, if I can actually look at the thing myself. But okay. This is just a sample of a loadout, right? So these are the champions that you use. And then you can see that there's going to be builds, right? So the items, where I'm looking at right here, the top one. I'll use my mouse to actually show this. So like the items here will kind of show you just like the builds that you're going to look to do. You click on the little arrow, and then you can kind of just play around with the sort of order that you do. Now, mind you, in the game, you can actually change it yourself. So you can kind of choose whichever items that you want to do, but generally speaking, I just go with cookie cutter ones and let the game kind of decide for me. The runes one is a little bit different. This is where going into the game, you actually have access to specific little buffs, I would say, and they're all kind of listed here in terms of how you want to do it. Everybody has. Like, sometimes they're more support-oriented, sometimes they're more physical. It really depends. AD, AP, all that stuff. So it really depends on what you want to do. I would suggest, if you're looking to do it, I mean, if you're just starting out, stick with the runes, right? Don't let it actually change. Don't change anything. Just stick with the recommended ones. But there are guides online, and you can kind of look at League of Legends ones as what is the best and most optimal build. The second piece is that everything is very different in the sense of... League of Legends, you have something called summoner spells, right? Which is the third one right here, right? And so what you can do here, this one is Ignite, this one's Flash. Almost always, you will go with Flash. Flash is like a mini blink, and it's on for like 30 seconds. Super important in a fight, and people will actually take team fights depending on how the timing that you have, like if it's a cooldown or whatnot. So very important that you kind of make sure that this one is Flash. The other one, though, is a little bit more flexible. Hence why you're allowed two. Generally speaking, I think you're only allowed one for the sake of, because Flash is just so good. And as you saw in that replay, hang on, let me just kind of click through. But Flash here, like literally flashing over, you can flash over walls, right? Unless you have a skill or something that lets you do that, you can't do that otherwise. So this is like one of the only ways that you can hop over walls. So like you can use it to retreat, you can use it to engage. Super important. Flash is, I think, the number one summoner spell you have to go. The other one is going to be dependent on... Is going to be dependent on what sort of hero role you are. Like, for instance, Smite is one that's going to be used for, like, junglers. It only does damage to monsters. Yes, you can get items that will let it do against other champions. And there's a whole nother, there's a blue and a red one. I'm not going to talk about that. But basically, you have other ways that can kind of slow or do more damage, burn, and that kind of stuff. So, but it does a tremendous amount of damage to a monster at once. So when you're looking to take down monsters, or you're looking to take out dragons or Baron, other things that, again, we'll discuss a little bit later, Smite is great to have because it lets you basically get the killing blow with it. And any team that gets the killing blow will end up getting it for you. So Smite is super important as a jungler. You need it, at least one jungler on the team. And we'll go into a little bit more details with roles a little bit later. But the other one, Ghostly, it just helps you go a little bit faster. It's just kind of, a little bit of burst. Heal tends to be one with your carry, your bot lane, ADC, whatever you want to call him. But he basically heals anybody that's nearby. There's a bit of a debuff that comes on when you do it, but... at the end of the day, I think one person needs it in the lane, probably the ADC. Barrier is one that can be used depending on what sort of role. I prefer this on my supports. I usually do either Barrier or I do Ignite, depending on what support I am. But both of these will give you... what is this? Oh, okay. So it'll basically give you, like, a Barrier is a little bit of a shield. just kind of protects you, just keeps you alive for like, you know, a little bit of damage. Ignite lets you do burn damage, but if they try to heal, it actually does less healing to them. You know, Grievous Runes reduces healing by 50%. So Exhaust is one that you kind of target champion, you know, slow them down a little bit, and their damage is reduced by 40%, which is pretty massive, but it's only 2.5 seconds. I don't see a lot of this one, and oddly enough, in Wild Rift, there's no teleport. Basically, teleport is like a TP, but yeah, you don't really have that. So you can kind of build your own. You can figure out your own stack, how you want to do this. You can kind of customize. You can create your own, depending on what you've got. So all very important stuff that you want to do. That's just kind of the initial piece. I wouldn't worry too much about that, just because right now you're just going to kind of go in and play. All right. One thing is that Wild Rift has is, I would say, dailies. You want to do dailies every single day. Like teammates, whatever. You, even though they play like crap or whatever, you still like them at the end of the day, just because you get your quests done with 3 in a day. So you have to play 3 games. Use emotes. I'll explain where those are in the game. And then daily first win, just winning a champion. Challenges, only available at level 10. Mind you, this is the after the reset, so I haven't really played too much of this one. Events is another one that's kind of going on right now. It's a good idea to go into, just to kind of start things off, because once you go into missions, every single day you're given more challenges, more dailies that you need to do. So again, just more ways to just get, you know, farm up as much XP and the blue motes as possible, okay? And what XP does is just helps you the levels. So if I'm just going to click on myself, I'm only level 8 here. But basically that bar will increase, that little circle thing. And so every level you get more, I mean, up to level 10, you get a hero every single time, and you get like the basics. So it's super good that at least you start at level 10, and then you can start playing in ranked. The other one, though, is the blue motes, which is going to be, where's the store? Right here. So the store will open up, and you have, let's just look at Lux in the example here. Okay, if we're looking at it, there's a blue mote here, and this is, I think it's RP points. I think it's what it's called. Wild cores, okay, which is riot points, whatever you want to call it, right? So you can either purchase it in one of 2 ways. So you can either purchase it with the stuff that you grind, which is the blue motes, or you can do it through the wild cores. Sorry, the naming is throwing me off. Okay, so everything right now costs the same, which is great. Considering League of Legends, it's completely varied, and you don't really have these kinds of options. So definitely something that you want to do. If you have a champion that you like to play, you'll want to buy it, right? You're going to have to grind it up or figure out some way, and there are other ways to get the champion. I think I have one of the tokens here. Where is it? Sorry, this menu still throws me off. Where is it? There we go. I think it's here. Okay, this one. So champion selection chest. You use this guy, and then you just whatever. And so you get it. And there's like Poro coins, and then this just gets you just other items that you can buy, and then XP boosts and stuff like that. So XP will just kind of, every level you get more, you know, either like a capsule or you get some sort of bonus for all of that. So it's super good that you do that. Make sure you do. And if you really want to just purchase money, there's the plus sign in the top. You just click on it and just purchase. And this is all in SGD. So right now, yeah, you can just buy the massive one or whatever. Oh, God, don't open. Oh, God. All right. But basically, if you purchase it now, you get 20% off or 20% more wild cores. I think I said it right. So just some things that you can note. It'll just kind of help you through. If you don't want to grind it, because sometimes this game can be kind of grindy in the sense of getting all the champions that you like. Okay, so play. Let's just go into actually, let's go to training. Practice. Let's go. I think it's interesting to show how this will work. I think at practice, you can just play with anybody. Okay, so the top one, just kind of explaining what these things are. This one is, I believe, wait, hang on. This is tank. This is like fighter, tank, mage, some ranged assassin thingy. Oh, this is the ADC one. ADC, and this is the support. So each of those like icons, they don't explain it. And to this day, I don't even know they are. But I just generally know which ones they are. And some are kind of across others, right? Like you might see a fighter and a tank. Like Jarvan just like, look, fighter into the tank. Like he can be both. He could also be, yeah. So it really depends on what you're going in. Sorry, to be honest, I don't know what this one is. I think this one's just like, I have no idea. Okay, it's hardly relevant, but okay. So I'm just gonna choose a random guy. Let's just kind of choose. Who do I want to choose? I actually want to play somebody. Let's just do V. All right, so V is just gonna go in. It's gotta wait up, load up. Actually, I don't know how the graphics are. Sorry, I'm using some like mirroring thing, so if the graphics aren't great, that's fine. It's actually not your connection to YouTube or whatever, however you're watching this, but it's actually more of based on what my mirroring is doing. I just did full screen, so it might not look as good. But I actually wanted to make this video just so that you can kind of... I know Dota players are trying to get into Wild Rift. There's a lot of questions. Hang on, let me get out of here. This is fine. Okay, let me get rid of this. Oh, how do I get rid of this? Okay. Oh, there we go. There's a little arrow. Okay. I clicked on the top left by the coin thing. There were actually choices to purchase items. And so this is off that build that you talk about, right? And so what it is that in this game, instead of a 2-1-2 in the different lanes, what you actually have in this game is you have a 1-1-3. So in the bottom lane, which is going to be this one, and it'll be reversed depending on, because the game flips it, because it's on mobile. So the bottom will always look the same, but it'll tell you which way is the bottom. So sometimes you might actually be going to the top lane, but that's the dual lane. Okay? Why is that one the dual lane? And that one's going to be the ADC and the support. And both of them are going to have that. So you're going to have 4 people fighting in that bottom lane. Okay? You're going to have a mid laner, which is like traditional Dota. You're going to have a top laner, who's pretty much your off laner, but he's going to be solo up against the enemy off laner. Okay? So the reason why you have that in that order, and you have one guy that's a jungler. Oh my gosh, hang on. Let's not let me die. Is because the jungler can actually farm up in the jungle fast enough as somebody who's stuck in the lane, right? So I always look at him as like a position 4 guy, where he's going to get his farm, he's going to be able to make rotations, he's going to be able to do that, but he can actually change the outcome of the game. And so you're thinking, why don't I just do like a 2-1-2, right? It's because if you both do that in the top lane, the top laner and the jungler share the XP, and they actually slow down, right? And what in this game is that the jungle camps, like this guy, this red beast, the Bramble Shack or whatever it's called, this raptor thing, and it's completely mirrored. So the top team has the exact same camps, exact same things. So there's no variance, right? There's no random jungle camps like in Dota, right? So you can know exactly how to properly farm fast enough so that you can go in the most optimal way, right? So what I like to do as the jungler is I usually will go for red. I kill this guy, and he's a red one. Notice he's got like that red gem on him. But basically that will give me a damage boost, right? So I usually have a friend or whatever help me out with this first jungle camp, right? Because this guy is actually a little bit tougher. And in worst case scenario, you have to smite him, and you can heal off of that as well. So just some things to note. Then I usually go to the wolves. I'll take this one here. And obviously killing that big one will get me to level 2. Killing this camp here. And this guy, which is the blue one, the blue beast, he gives me almost infinite mana at this stage. I kill this guy, and then I go kill this guy, which is the croak or the toad or whatever it's called. And then I'm usually about level 3. And at level 3, once you have a 1-1-1, it's not like Dota where you're reliant on items to actually do something. You have 3 skills. You have all of your skills that you can actually make a way to, you can gank. You can actually make your presence known right away. And that's actually one of the better things about Dota, or about Wild Rift and League of Legends, is that you can make a impact sooner because of this, right? And also, if you kill this guy, which is kind of cool, I'll just kill him real quick. But as I talk through this, but Ease of the Beast, like, generally speaking, they only do, like, okay, if you kill it, they come back, and it shows on the map just when they're going to come back. So you don't always have to check timers. It's not like, every minute on the minute you get the new camp to come back. But this one does a little something special in the sense that he becomes a ward and a little bit of a speed burst in the area. This provides a lot of vision, and it stays right in front of the objective. Okay. Let me talk about this. This one here is going to have a Rift Herald, or it's going to have Baron. Okay? Baron is like Roche. Oh my god, these guys just going to kill me. Get off me, bro. But, oh my god, he's not going to leave me alone. Hang on. Make sure I don't die. Get off me, bro. This guy. Bloodthirsty as ever. Okay. Oh god. Alright. This thing, if you hit it, basically, if it hits anything, all enemies will be revealed. This one is like the dragon fruit or whatever it's called. You click this thing, and it'll bounce you over walls. So you can make quick getaways, you can make aggressive plays. Based on that, you have this thing, which is a little nectar. You kill this thing, and you pick it up, and you get mana and HP, but it slows you down. Okay. All right, so now you're probably wondering, why 2-1-2? Why can't I do, like the carry and the support are like reversed, right? Why don't I have it going against top? It's because what they've done in League of Legends is that they have something called dragons, right? This is like a neutral that you need to fight over. Seeing as that you put it closest to the bottom lane, which in this case is the ADC and the support, because of the fact that anytime you get a pick-off or whatever, and the jungler can kind of rotate through, basically you have a number, like 2 or 3 heroes is what you need to kind of deal with these dragons, right? And so that's generally, at least that's my impression of why they did it like this, why you don't see like 2 in the top lane, because again, we saw up in this area, it was empty, right? So there's really no point. So you want to put the most amount of heroes closest to this thing as possible, because the dragons are super important, because once you kill a dragon, at least in Wild Rift, you get a buff. And getting a buff is super important because of the fact that they last throughout the entire game. So it's like getting a free item, okay? That's super important. The second piece, though, is that, and Wild Rift doesn't have this, but League of Legends does, but if you kill 4 dragons, everybody gets like an Aghanims, or Aghanims level power. It's a huge power spike, so it's something that's pretty massive in terms of what you want to do. And these things spawn relatively soon, and you'll know when they spawn because it comes up on the minimap. There's a sound, and basically you always want to be fighting around these things. So it's forcing you outside of your base, which is very different than Dota, which tends to be, yeah, you have Roshan or whatever, but that's pretty much it, and you have 5 or 6 minutes, and you just like stay high ground defense. This is a game where you're like, why are they leaving the base? That seems very stupid. But the dragons are so powerful, especially the 4th one, that it's actually worth going all in for to make sure that you secure the dragon. And they made it interesting in the sense that when you have these giant team fights fighting over the dragon, they'll continue to fight the dragon, but whoever gets that last smite, that last killing blow, gets the dragon, and they get the kill. So it's super important to make sure that you're fighting around it, and then you can flash, smite, you can get the steal. All of these things are very important in terms of how you want to do this. So the dragons are, again, it's forcing you outside of the base. And so another piece, and why this game in a way is much faster than Dota, hang on, let me just TP back, is that they don't have 1,000 little structures inside the base, right? You know, in like Dota, you have like all of these like X shrines or whatever they were. They have like things like, okay, in this game they've actually taken away the inhibitors, but basically you kill this tower and you get like super creeps. Like you get one super tanky one, right? These are like normal creeps here, but you see one that's like super big, and he's like he's kind of like a mega creep. So you get like one big mega creep. If you kill all 3 towers, it really doesn't matter. Okay, but all lanes will pretty much push. I was going to talk about inhibitors, but those things are not in this game. So they made it faster. So I think Wild Rift games, they will average around 15 to 25 minutes, depending on which. They have something that's called a surrender. If I can ever find it, it's somewhere in the menu. I don't ever surrender, so I don't do this, but I think it's here. Okay. There's actually, right next to quick game, there's something called surrender, right? And so you can pretty much, if the game's not looking good, you can pretty much just, everybody has a vote on it, and they can just kind of quit on out of the game if they want. Makes the game faster, because sometimes there's losing games, there's really no way to come back. Another piece is that you have something called wards. These are interesting in the sense that everybody carries one, and they're on timers, and they last for a certain amount of time. And they provide vision, of course, like any other ward would. But when you place one, the enemy can see it, but it disappears after a while. So pretty much you'll get one hit, maybe more. But usually it takes about 4 hits to kill them. There's another thing with... Okay, and there are items that let you see other wards. Hang on, this is the 50 seconds. I'm just trying to... So I've cycled it out for the Oracle, which is this zone. Basically, it makes you a walking sentry. The sweeping lens, as they call it. I think it's Oracle lens in the League of Legends. So some of the naming is even different. But basically, it will scan, and it'll be like a little sonar radar that lets you see where enemies are. Like, I could be standing here, and the enemy could be on... Oh, my God. This guy's going to kill me. Hang on. Get off me, bro. But hang on. We'll wait 20 seconds. I'll show you how this works. Basically, it provides vision where you don't have vision. Which can be super important because, you're trying to find the wards and everything. What are these 3 things on the top? Little engage the enemy, retreat. So a quick chat, top right, chat wheel, if you will. Okay, now let's look at this Oracle zone. So, I'll show you how this works. All right, so I know that there's a jungle camp here, right? So if I cast Oracle zone, it provides vision. You see that? Like, there's a little jungle camp. Like, I know that it's there. It'll provide vision in the bushes, which is like the fog of war. If I'm in the bush, if I'm in this bush, you can't see me unless you're in the bush or you have a ward inside of the bush. Okay? If I'm here, I couldn't see here, right? You can't see through the bushes either. So these bush things are like where ambushes are. Yes, they're a little bit more static than, Dota. But they're a little bit more... I don't know. It's a little bit more of a streamlined play style. So I don't bash it as much. I think it's fine in League of Legends. I think it's different. It's quicker. So definitely things that you want to do. So I like that. All right. I think that I've hit mainly the main points to this. But yeah, if you've got any questions, obviously I'll add on to this, and we'll do a little bit more, a deeper dive. But I just wanted to do a quick high-level one because I know that there's a lot of Dota players that have been asking me about this game, and because they're like, I don't know where to start, I don't know what's going on. But it's pretty much the same thing in the MOBA sense: pushing the lanes, stick to the lane of 1-1-2, and then have a jungler. Understand why you need to do that. Its game is completely different than MLBB and Dota in that sense. The laning phase is there. And I feel like there's more of an impact. Like, you can carry from each of the lanes a little bit easier. Like, your position 5 isn't as isn't in a rough of a spot as he is in other games. Like, the position 5 can be super rough and it can be super boring. But yeah, give it a shot. The game is more about skill shots as opposed to just the click stuns that you might see in Dota. It's different tastes, right? Some people like apples. Some people like apples, some people like bananas, but it's a personal preference thing. Like, I wouldn't really knock it until you've tried it. Give it a chance. And I think you'll be quite surprised by how good the game actually is. All right? If you like what I do, please give a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you guys next time.